You can say what you want about Israel. No, go on, say what you want, that it's hypocritical, it bombs kids, it kills indiscriminately in the name of something, and that its defence system, the Iron Dome, has a stupid name that sounds like a quiz show. Yep, say what you want about Israel, but its propaganda is unbelievable. And I mean unbelievable in every sense of that word, in as much as you can't believe it's actually happening and you can't believe a thing they say. Let's just watch an interview with the Israeli ambassador to the UK that was on Sky News. If you thought the full frontal assault on Gaza was intimidating, wait till you see this woman go.
The Prime Minister, as you know, has appealed for restraint on both sides. What's Israel's response to that request?
Well, first of all, let's describe the situation on the ground.
First of all, don't answer the question.
It's under attack, under heavy fire from Hamas, a terror organization.
Exaggerate as much as possible.
Civilians. I just spoke to my parents. My mother,
here we go, this is a great bit. This is a practice story about the mother. Pull at the heartstrings.
Is this a time for Israel to show restraint?
No, it's a time to Israel to protect its citizens. And we try to show restraint and to de-escalate the situation. Few days, we did it.
Scary as Gaza is, I imagine propaganda school in Israel is much worse. Because the thing with your Israeli diplomatic verbal diarrhea is you know where you stand with it. It's dishonest bullshit, but it's honest, dishonest bullshit. Hamas does fire rockets into Gaza. That is an actual fact. Sure, they're mostly firecrackers into the desert, and the whole historical situation, involves a bit of nuance, but it's a fact. Hamas fires rockets. But despite what the Israeli government minions will tell you, the response is disproportionate. Like if someone punched you in the face at school and you responded by destroying that person's house, and their parents' house, and their parents, and their children. But the diplomacy of the US, which is the so-called power broker of the Middle East, when it comes to this whole Israel-Gaza thing, is, well, confusing.
The role we are playing at this point in time, Jonathan, as we've tried to keep you abreast of, is to communicate not only with the Israelis and the Palestinians, the goal and the objective of reducing violence and achieving stability, but also with key partners in the region.
Yeah, I don't know either. So the rumour when Biden first came to office was that he was going to try and be a bit more mean and aloof towards the perpetual Prime Minister of Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu, mainly to get away from the fanboy policies of Trump and also to please the lefty base.
President, can I ask you a quick question on Israel before you drive away?
No, you can't. Not unless you get in front of the car as I step on it.
But in a sign that tells you everything about a US president's ability to break diplomatically from Israel, that policy fell apart as soon as Israel started bombing the shite out of the Palestinians. Here's what I mean.
My expectation and hope is that this will be closing down sooner than later. But Israel has a right to defend itself when you have thousands of rockets flying into your territory.
Yep, so Biden's been whimpering about Israel's right to self-defense when the whole world can see quite clearly that Israel is defending the shit out of itself. He's also said Israel should start to wind down the destruction of Gaza. Seriously, wind it down. Like, carry on a bit more, but then wind it down. But don't worry, because the New York Times says Biden sharpens his tone in private. How sharp? Well, you decide. As Israel was levelling entire buildings in Gaza, including the headquarters of Western media organisations, Biden's administration blocked a UN resolution condemning Israel, then passed a $735 million deal to send precision-guided missiles to, Israel. Firstly, they seem to have plenty there already, thanks very much. Secondly, the optics. Think of the optics, Joe. So we've told Israel to wind it down in Gaza. Hey Israel, want some guns? So is there no way of getting the US to ever stop sending missiles and weapons to Israel? Actually, yeah, there might be. Italian port workers apparently refused to load a shipment of arms because it was headed to Israel. Now that is diplomacy that saves lives.